Good morning, everyone. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning I have for us a review of the Atari VCS 2600 original library game, Atlantis. Now, Atlantis is a pretty interesting one. It's what I would basically, with the way I tend to put it in my little way of classifying these ways, it's what I would regard as a console port in terms of in the sense that its developer, Imagic or Imagic, somebody please again remind me the correct pronunciation, though I will definitely forget again since I don't do these that often. When they created the game, they created versions that were created for particular consoles to start with. In this case, the Atari VCS 2600, which, although there was the other one which I reviewed before for the Intellivision, which I will reference some to point out kind of some of the significant differences off and on, though this is not quite yet a review video. It's a review video, but not quite a comparison-contrast video. But to point out some of the ways that they're a bit different, I will have to make that reference some. So anyway, and in this case, I consider it a console port, basically, because Imagic or Imagic created these versions that were sent directly to the consoles as a third-party developer, so. And there was no arcade cabinet original or anything, so it is a bit different of a case than something like that, so. Anyway, it was developed by Imagic or Imagic, published by them, with developer doing programming Dennis Coble in 1982. And it was pretty popular and all back then. I mean, this is one of those other notable games that everybody kind of sat up and paid attention to. But then again, with Imagic or Imagic, the vast majority of their games were something for the time to sit up and take notice of, so. Anyway, I don't really have instructions or anything for this one, so I had to write them down. The game has four variations. The first one is a normal mode, normal difficulty and all. The second is a bit tougher. Number 2, your Acropolis or center command cannon, that's what they call the one right in the middle, is disabled, so you don't get to use it whatsoever. You just have what are called the sentry post, which are the cannons on the left and right to use. Then number 4 is a beginner mode for those not very familiar with the game yet. Whereas number 3 is actually, I won't get a chance to demonstrate or anything here, because I lack a second player, but it's a 2-player mode, though not competitive, it's cooperative. Basically, the 2 players would each take control of a sentry post or something like that, so. As for scoring, for shooting down a large Gorgon vessel, well, it depends on how you do it. With either the sentry post, that's worth 100 points. For doing it with your command post in the center, it's 200 points. For a Gorgon bandit bomber, it's worth 1,000 points for shooting down with a sentry post, and worth 2,000 for shooting down with your command post. And for each surviving part of Atlantis, after each round of gameplay, you will be rewarded with 500 more points. And then I forget the exact details, but at some point, you know, if you have enough surviving and all with Atlantis and have enough accumulated score, say your central command post, the cannon right there in the center in the middle, has been destroyed, well, it will be returned to you, and if I'm not mistaken, some minor parts of Atlantis over time will show up as being rebuilt. So anyway, that's the basics with that. The whole story is that it's the ancient city of Atlantis, well, supposedly, which we think of from the legends and myth as being pretty highly advanced for its time. Anyway, there's this Gorgon Empire, which wants to destroy Atlantis, and they're going to in the end of things. Your task is, as Atlantis' defender, or defense force, whatever, to try to hold out and defend the city from destruction for as long as possible. And that's what the whole deal is about. Now, with this one, unlike the Intellivision port, which I had pretty much CIB and everything, or at least a box copy of all, for the Atari VCS 2600 port, I only have a loose copy, and here it is. We can see it's a very nice looking one, and there are actually about 3 different variations on this. One which is text only, one which shows this image right here as a daytime image, and here's, or a daytime wave image, and this one right here is the nighttime wave image. As we can see, it looks like it was taking place at night. And of course also says it's for use with Atari and Sears video game systems. Tells us program contents, audio, visual display, cartridge design and label, copyright Imagic or Imagic 1982, and of course has a little kind of ridged handle for pulling the cartridge, taking the cartridge in and out of the slot here that says Imagic or Imagic on it, right there. It also says on the back too, and mine also has a price sticker on it. I got it at my local game exchange retailer, and before taxes on it, paid $9.99. Well, actually, I'm not sure if that's actually what I paid, or if I got a little bit of a discount. It's been a long time ago since I bought it, years, so. Anyway, not wanting to spend a whole inordinate amount of time just talking about this, I've got my HyperKit Retron 77 emulation hardware clone console here set up and ready to go with it. So I'm going to toss this in there and we're going to take a look at the gameplay. Okay, so here we go with gameplay for Atlantis, Atari VCS 2600 original library game. Get everything set up here. Okay, make sure my controls are working the way they're supposed to. Yep, looks like it. Cartridge in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set it for mode 4, the beginner's mode, because it makes things a bit slower and easier going, and although it is not a game I'm terribly unfamiliar with, it would not do so much to have this review video going with it being super difficult. I don't want it to be that bad. Basically, controls are, when you want to fire the left sentry turret, press your joystick to the left and then press your fire button, and pull it to the right and press the fire button to fire the right sentry turret, and just press the fire button without moving your joystick any direction for the command turret or command center turret in the center. Okay, so here we go. Here's 1, 2. It's very nicely done in terms of the Gorgon enemies are pretty colorful, though they are a little bit more simplified. But then again, this is the Atari VCS 2600. It wasn't always very good at, how you might say, drawing or rendering round or circular shapes as well, so it kind of makes sense that the design's gone with would be more simple type. Unlike the Intellivision version, there isn't really a day and night cycle, nor the variety of enemy craft that you would see there, not quite. And of course the command turret, or central command turret, whatever, takes the place of the Intellivision version's flying saucer that you have as another defensive measure. I'm not trying to say that the Atari VCS 2600 could have handled something like that. It maybe could have, but it may be that the developers at Imagic or Magic just couldn't figure out how to work that into this version of the game. I'm certain it was probably possible to do. There we go. Not doing too bad. Yeah, this version of the game is pretty good about, you know, it's kind of slowed down, so at least this variation of it. So you can actually get somewhere. They'd be coming a lot faster if I were playing the variation 1, the normal one. Maybe not all that fast at one time, but still, they'd be coming at a more brisk pace. And even with this one, it tends to pick up some as time goes by, so. Again, no real day and night cycle here. You just, the rounds are over when they are, and it doesn't seem like it changes too much on that. At least there's no really big visual cue to tell you that. Of course, you don't have quite rapid fire, but you do have, I can fire up to 2 shots at a time pretty quickly, so. And that's useful enough. Die. The graphics and, you know, the visuals here are very good. It looks very good. The sound effects are more than adequate. It sounds very nice. It sounds like what you would probably be expecting, or at least what would probably make sense for it to sound like. Not overly complicated. The sounds are kind of a mechanical type in a way, you know, but that was common for games of the era, so can't really hold that against it by very much. At least I don't. What for? This is what you would probably have expected. Or close enough to it anyway. So far, we're keeping it going for a bit here. Well, I got it, but he managed to get my central command turret before I could do anything about it, but I got it back right away, so. Yet now they're starting to get where it's going to be tougher to keep up with them. Now they're wanting to get fast on me. Well, I still managed to kill him, even if not so easily. Instead of she'll be coming across the horizon, when she comes, she'll be coming across I mean, instead of she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, it's, in this case, she'll be coming across the horizon when she comes. The Gorgons, in this, more or less. And that was the last of Atlantis. Well, with the exception of the defense turrets. And that little green thing right there was the flying saucer that takes off once Atlantis is destroyed, leading to the sequel, which was only for this, the Atari VCS 2600 Cosmic Arc, which we'll review at some later point. But anyway, for now, I think you guys get the idea with the gameplay, so... Okay, so that was Atlantis, a 1982 original library game for the Atari VCS 2600 from Imagic or Imagic. Is it pretty good? Oh yes. In fact, it made a pretty big splash for them back in the day, was quite popular, and, well, it's one of those games, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, maybe not their absolute favorite, but it was popular for reasons, and we can see why, just playing it here. Hey, I scored over, 80,000 points? Not too bad. Be more impressive if I had on the normal variation, but who cares? As I noted, it does get, even on that one, it does get faster and much more difficult after a while. Anyway, I do have one recommendation, and link from one of my preferred YouTubers, which on this one I'm surprised one was all I could find. I guess maybe some others, since I've been watching as much, didn't show up in my search results as easily as they might have. Or maybe this is the only one straight up that I have among my preferred YouTubers so far, which would be weird for this game, but whatever. That is for Phil, with his channel, The No Swear Gamer. One of the most excellent and thorough game reviewers that I know of. No offense intended to anybody else with that, by the way, just, When it comes to games that fall within his categories, Phil is the best about... You're going to know what you need to know about the games, for the most part. So, I will leave a link for you guys to his review video on it, which is pretty helpful. And not very long. He does it in a lot shorter time than I did. 5 minutes, something, I believe. I'll also go ahead and leave a link to the Wikipedia article for those who may be interested in reading up on this one further. As it's a pretty decent article which goes over both versions of the game and gives you general overviews, so it's a pretty nice read. Good place to get started. That's why I usually go with the Wikipedia articles. They may not always be 100% the very best, but they usually are decent for getting you started on what you're looking to know more about. Anyway, big shout out to my Atari 2600 Facebook group. Love you guys over there, and hopefully this thing will not take too long to get uploaded. It's been pretty nice weather here, so I wouldn't think it would be very far behind. Also, by the way, on that note, a special shout out to Atari 2600 Facebook group member Timmy Hosback. I hope I didn't slaughter the pronunciation of the last name. He had commented when I did the announcement post in that particular Facebook group about how he used to rule at this game growing up. Hope you found this review video to be adequate and enjoyable. I try. Whether I actually succeed or not, otherwise, go ahead and keep your guys' eyes peeled for what this next Sunday's upcoming homebrew, probrew, or prototype review video is going to be. Again, it will be another emulated game ROM, probably either Atari VCS 2600 or ColecoVision. I haven't picked one out and decided yet. But, as usual, I should have it done in plain time. The announcement post for it should be up probably Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there. Depends on how my week goes. As noted before, I have other things going on, so I've got to kind of try to divide my time, energy, and resources. Anyway, if you enjoy this channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comment section below. You guys take care, have a wonderful Wednesday, and hopefully I will see everyone back here again this coming Sunday, if maybe not a bit before.